You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day and welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Reverend Cindy. We're live today on Tuesday, December 3rd. Holy crap, the countdown's coming. Hope all you got your Christmas shoplifting done. We're here on 2024 on paceradio.net, and we stream everywhere. How you doing? You got all your Christmas shopping done?
No. How about you?
Oh, not at all. Gee,
have you started?
Did Canada Post send you your advent calendars?
You want to know what's really bad? Is they got in one day. And they got in I can't remember what day the Canada Post strike started. Was it a Thursday or something? So Wednesday, I got the notification that there was a card left there for me. And before I could make it down there to get them, they went on strike. Yeah.
Well, we'll leave that conversation alone. Yeah, it just cost me triple the price to send a bunch of stuff out for people. It was kind of annoying.
Unbelievable, yeah. What it's done. I've got a couple of advent calendars, and actually one of the companies that I ordered from was really amazing. Angel, buy the jump-ins. She knows that we're live, so she's being bad. And they called and they said, "Hey, due to the strike, this isn't going to make it to you. So we're going to put something out. We're going to call it back, and we're just going to send you a new one via courier. What's your home address?" Nice. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. So I'll have one gift and my dad's advent calendar in mine, which is of course mine's full of weed. Sitting in the post office until they decide they're coming back to work.
Well, you'll probably have a great gift for New Year's. I don't know if you can hear. Chica's sitting in the front window there, and apparently, if anybody goes walking by, she's going to talk to them. So you may hear a little bit of yiping and yapping, and
it's all good. It's all good. Chica's a sweetheart. So today we have a pretty cool guest. Actually, when I read his bio, Steve just looked at me and he goes, "So you're telling me that we've got a guest that just kicks ass then?" And I'm like, yeah, we get a kick-ass guest today. This gentleman has, grown up helping his grandparents, served in the armed forces in the United States, ended up with an injury and survived surgeries, fought addiction, found his way out and found his way to healing. And now he works hard to help others be able to find the same healing. It's pretty awesome. And when we were talking before the show, I found out that his ancestors actually came to the Americas via Nova Scotia. So some of his distant relatives are my dear friends here in Nova Scotia, which was kind of neat.
And he's got that awesome accent that sometimes we get to see on TV every once in a while when we're like Canadians up here in the Great White North, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we would like to welcome Tony Landry to the show. Welcome, Tony.
Hey, welcome, Cindy and Steve. Pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah. The backstage talk before the show was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it. And I told you what I was going to ask first. And, people usually know what one of us pops out and asks. We are a psychedelic show, and I do like to know how people come to have that love and respect for the psychedelic medicine as Steve and I have. So what brought you to psychedelics, Tony?
Yeah, the plant medicine, I first heard about it when I moved to Tucson. I didn't even, in Louisiana, didn't really ever really do any mushrooms or anything, although they grow in all the cow pastures down here in the summertime, but I just never partook in them. When I moved out to Tucson, I went to the 2019 Psychedelic Conference, and I learned about ayahuasca, ibogaine, bufo, psilocybin mushrooms, and how they were having a miraculous, profound effect on healing people from mental health issues like addiction, depression, and anxiety. So I left the conference and found out they had a ayahuasca church located in Tucson. And I went and had my first ayahuasca ceremony at the church, and let me tell you, I was a believer after that. I was struggling with alcohol every day. First thing on my mind was, when can I drink today? And the ayahuasca just turned that off like a key. Somebody put a key in my brain the next morning. And I didn't drink again for like 3 years. So it really had a profound effect. I had a divorce from my wife and went through some depression and moved back to Louisiana. And alcohol is so socially accepted down here with our, festival attitude, atmosphere. And so it wasn't hard not to fall back into my old patterns. So, but since then, I went back to Tucson, had some more ayahuasca, and I think you have to get a little tune up every so often. You can't, do it one time and it's over with. So,
yeah, it's not a magic bullet. None of these medicines are.
No.
Yeah.
You have to do the integration work after you do the ceremony that talking with your community members in that group,
Yeah.
Sharing.
What was your pathway prior to finding that? Give us some of the history that made you seek it.
The ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I stumbled across it learning about ayahuasca because of my advocacy in medical cannabis. I had, some injuries getting out of service and had a couple back surgeries and went through all the opiate, building tolerance to the opiates, and they wasn't working anymore. Finally give up on that. And then I started drinking and to soothe the discomfort from my back, my pain. And one day I tried CBD oil, and really it took about a couple weeks, Steve, for it really. I think my endocannabinoid system was just so run down. It took a little bit to tank it off, but once it did, I noticed I wasn't taking BC powders anymore, and because I was taking that, I got off the opiates by using those, and those things will mess up your stomach after a while. If you take them 2 or 3 a day. So when I got on the CBD, after a while, I'd wash my clothes and I'd find them in the laundry, the aspirin. I was like, wow, this stuff really helping? I'm not taking these aspirin all the time. And so I started the group Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis, and got some rallies at the Capitol. I think we've had at least 4 rallies on opening day of the legislative session. But back then, I had an opportunity to move to Tucson. So back in 2018, we got a chronic pain bill and a PTSD bill added to our medical cannabis program. So after that, the program really took off and got started. Before that, since 2015, we had the legislation in place, and then it's supposed to be prescribed. The original legislation said the doctor could prescribe it, so they had to come back the next year and change to recommend. It's just one thing after another. But it took till 2019 before they actually have product down here on the shelf through the dispensaries. But so right in 2018, when after the session happened, I was like, well, I got an opportunity to move to Arizona, and they have a medical cannabis program in Arizona. So I was No, I think it was just part of my journey that I needed to go over there and learn about ayahuasca and the psilocybin mushrooms and how they can help people.
Yeah. Yeah, and they really can.
Yeah.
I like to call it hurt healers helping hurt healers heal. It's this group of people that were hurt that are starting to heal, and then they find other people that were hurt that are starting to heal, and then they exchange the tools they found, and all of a sudden you got this community of people that are walking a wave of healing, and that community just grows bigger and bigger, and it's such a beautiful thing. Wow, I love that, that you're actually a pretty loud advocate on it and creating groups to make those type of things happen. That's beautiful.
When you went down to Arizona, you became part of NORML, correct?
Yes. Michael Robinette was created Southern Arizona NORML in Tucson. Phoenix had a chapter of NORML that did a lot of work over there in Phoenix, but he and I lived in Tucson. So he said, well, Tony, you want to, because when I got to Arizona, I went straight to the capital and started working down there. But I was known for my work in Louisiana by, the advocates in NORML from Phoenix. So, and then Mike was involved with them. So when he wanted to start the Tucson chapter, I said, let's do it. So we had several meetings, and then there's Tucson Psychedelic Society that we had several meetings there, and then they would bring in speakers like psilocybin, or plant medicine speakers on ayahuasca, and people would come to the state, the county legislative office. I can't speak. The county administration, they let us use their building, and that's where I that's where I learned how to grow mushrooms, because there was a group there that we grew oyster mushrooms, and it got me to start this group in Louisiana, the Swamp Spore Society. So now we grow oyster mushrooms at the library here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And if somebody once they get the knowledge, they can grow whatever mushroom they want, once they learn to grow it.
Yep.
Lion's mane. Going with lion's mane.
I think it's amazing that you're doing this, not just with gourmet mushrooms, as you called them, but the psilocybin mushrooms. I think it's amazing that you're down at your local library teaching people how to grow magic mushrooms. Like the teenager in me is going, yeah, that's amazing.
Well, now I will bring we grow oysters at the library because anyway, Louisiana has a special law that allows for us to grow psilocybe mushroom, but I don't want to bring them to the library because everybody hears mushroom automatically they think it's poison or something like that. They don't know anything about it. So I figure, well, once everybody learns how to grow the oysters, then they can go home and do what they want, because you can get the spores in 48 states down here, including Louisiana. And then we've got the law. I carry our law around with me. It's Louisiana.
Nice.
Carried in this is my little mushroom Bible. Got all my recipes for my grain jars and the substrate, everything like that. I carry that with me in my, when I go teach them at the Swamp Spore. And I said, well, look, we got a clause in here that says we can grow psilocybe mushrooms in Louisiana. But I said, what's going to get you hemmed up is if you go and put them in some chocolate boards and go try and distribute them and stuff. But I said, as long as they're dried mushrooms in a glass jar, you can harvest it. The law allows you to harvest, everything. So, because we got ayahuasca on that list, it's 38 plants, hallucinogenic plants. Ayahuasca we can actually grow in Louisiana, and yes, it's too many plants to list, but most of them are found in flower beds and little, gardens and stuff in front of people's houses. And they don't even know they're hallucinogenic, but they are.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can grow the vines that they use to create ayahuasca in your state.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's on that list. Like I said, it's like 40 plants, 38, 39 or 40.
Wow.
And one of the plants is the Mimosa hostilis tree, which grows wild down here. They got one in the backyard right here. at a neighbor's house. Got a big old mimosa tree, and you can take the pink flowers off the mimosa tree and collect them and put them in a jar with some Everclear in it, some alcohol, and put it up in the cabinet for 30 days. And it's a nice, relaxing tincture. And the root bark of that tree, you can extract through with naphtha and some chemical process. I don't know the recipe, but it's on YouTube. You can pull it up on YouTube and order the root bark. The indigenous tribes use it to dye clothes. It's got red color to it, but you do use extraction on the tabletop, and you got DMT. So I mean, there's a lot of medicine that you need the knowledge. You need to educate the public about how to use these plants instead of making them illegal. Then they don't know nothing about it. How to take the setting and everything. When you use them, you should be in certain set, and you're not upset about nothing, or you should have set intentions that you want to work on this problem. So you're already building that highway around the trauma before you go in, and then when you go in, you have the neurogenesis and all the stuff happening with the medicine, and then the integrations afterwards. We need a whole system of people trained in all that, so that people have somewhere to go and use the medicine.
And the integration after.
And
that's
the
one of the things that Cindy and I are.
It's actually easier to get integration coaches than it is to get facilitators, at least here in Canada. I've got 2 websites that, your dog whined and I looked at mine. I was given a second one today, but I've got 2 websites that have a list of, integration coaches or specialists that are coast to coast here in Canada. And there's a lot of them. I'm just sending out letters to all of them so I can get them in a Rolodex and, for my own practice. But try to find a ayahuasca facilitator or an iboga facilitator or a 5-MeO facilitator. Unless you're in the community, which is still less than 3% of the population, there's nobody. People the only reason people know what I'm doing is because I'm being loud on social media. I've shared my certificates and what I've learned and what I do. And I am open to taking clients through that, advertising, for lack of a better word. But, unless you're friends with me, you don't see that, and that's the same way with a lot of other facilitators. The walls are up all the way around it because of legalities, for one, social stigma for another. Because even when, and I use the word when, because I truly believe it's going to happen in both of our countries, when United States federally decriminalizes or reschedules cannabis, and when both countries legalize, decriminalize, or rescheduleize psilocybin, the stigma is still going to be there. We're still going to have to fight, that crazy stoner, or look at that old, screwed up hippie, all stoned on mushrooms, blah, 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 blah. So that stigma is still there for us to fight. And we can't do that unless we take down those walls. And we need people like the 3 of us to help do that. And then I think more people are going to come along. More people are going to learn, and more people are going to have reverence, and more people are going to understand set and setting. And they're going to take that ceremony and that reverence that they're learning through these beautiful medicines, and they're going to take it and they're going to put it into their own life. So when they sit, and I think this is where prayer over our meal comes from. They're going to say thank you for their food, because that isn't a ceremony in and of itself. When you're sitting there eating good, healthy food, we should give a thanks. I mean, my ancestors, being Cree, used to throw tobacco down every time they received something amazing, a good meal. Thank you, ancestors. And I think getting back into the reverence is very important for us all.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story.
I apologize.
No, that's good. I agree 100%. The ancestors had a lot of answers to our problems today, and they're not. The drug war is not saving lives. I mean, more and more people.
No, the drugs are winning.
Yeah. So we need to pull back these ancestral practices of using plant medicine to deal with this mental health issue.
I have to agree, because it's been magic. It's been magic for myself, and my history was a lot of medications, which medications, they don't lie. Medications are made to medicate. They're not called healications. They're called medications. And, in the history of my study, most medications up until, the last 15 years, most medications were found in a plant. The active ingredient that was creating the healing was extracted. Then the molecular structure was put together and they would synthesize something, create a pill. And now that plant doesn't want to be, we don't want to promote that plant because we can patent and sell this pill. And most people don't even realize that, at one point there's over 85 medications that were in North America on the marketplace that were all a synthesized version of something in a plant. And if you've been using the cannabis oil and in that world, then you've probably come to realize, that pure CBD is a great medication and pure THC is a great medication, but the whole plant oil, that's a great healing oil.
Yeah, I agree. Some of these, what a lot of people smoke today is like this distillate vape pen, and they're missing all of the minor cannabinoids. It's just a stripped out version of THC. They just don't know what they're doing, but it's just so convenient.
And they've been programmed. That's a great program. They managed to make the program of cannabis 90% in the conscious about smoking, when really, battling cancer, you want to be ingesting that stuff. You want to be using a suppository. You want to get that whole oil into your system and get it rocking.
Well, yeah.
But it's all about, oh, no, smoke. Yeah, oh, smoking. It's like, oh, you still managed to make the conscious focused on the worst way of consuming it for health.
Yes, I agree. And even vaping the like organic, living soil grown, sun grown cannabis flower, dry vaping it, and then using that vape material in your edibles. I mean, that's the way cannabis made to be consumed. But nobody knows about full spectrum cannabis and all the different cannabinoids. They just don't know. I guess part of the stigma Cindy was talking about is just so there's a lot of educating.
Yeah, like the government up here, the government is the one they're all about vaping, and then they brought up vape pens in the legal stores, and it's a way, like Steve said, it's a way to medicate. It's not a way to heal. It's a way to medicate, and that keeps customers.
Right.
Yep. They keep coming back instead of instead of only using small doses to maintain or putting it on the shelf for a while. They keep coming back because all it does is band-aid symptoms.
Yeah. Just the THC. They just fill in the high part of cannabis, but the cannabis, all the other cannabinoids, all keep our endocannabinoid system in balance and everything. Yep. We have receptors all over our body that THC maybe doesn't go to, but the CBD, all the different cannabinoids go to. So.
Between each of them, that's one of the things we're getting lots of info since, in Canada, it's been federally legal for a while. We get a lot of the research done. And, one of the big things that they are saying is that every organ in the body, including the skin, has a cannabinoid receptor. And they're now finding that most of them actually have two, but the regulation between how they work is a little different. Some require more of the CBD, some require more of the THC to activate. But, when battling something like a heart cancer, you want as much in activating everyone you can. You want them all activated. You want the body in healing homeostasis. And then you want to give it something in the gut that unlocks the keys to heal. I'm going to go have a McDonald's Big Mac and a shake. Sorry, that's not opening the healing keys.
No, absolutely no sugar.
Yep.
Wow. So with with where you are currently now, you've done the ayahuasca. Where are we at time wise? Maybe
we could go anytime if you want to take a break before that question. Up to you.
Let's take the break now, and then we'll come back, because it'll probably take us through another area.
Okay. Do you want to do your
It's break time. Time to check out our sponsors and pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushie Moment on paceradio.net, streaming everywhere. We'll be right back.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net and everywhere. We're here with Tony Landry.
Howdy.
Welcome back.
I was going to ask a question before the break, and I decided to wait till after the break.
And now you can't remember the question?
No, I actually do. Isn't that amazing? You had your journey through trauma, etc., into the cannabis end. From the cannabis, did you find mushrooms first or ayahuasca first?
Ayahuasca first.
And then from the aya, what happened and transpired to where you are now?
The ayahuasca caused me to give up the urge for alcohol for 3 whole years while I lived in Arizona. And then the mushrooms came through one of the groups. Somebody in the group, we had a mushroom growing group that grew oysters and all. May have been one of the guys that was at one of those meetings there that grew psilocybin mushrooms. And so I bought some, but here in Louisiana, they're illegal to consume. So, we just grow in oyster mushrooms. Just, we don't want to. Well, I mean, we can grow the psilocybin. It's legal to grow them, but you can make necklaces with them and headbands
But you can't eat them.
Yeah, you can't eat them. If you die of alcoholism, can't eat them. You just grow them for decorative, aesthetic purposes. So
wow.
Now, make sure everybody knows that. Just make sure that they're growing them for decorative purposes, I mean.
Yep.
Yes, because it's all within the legal realm of the wording.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. By
Sorry,
law,
illegal.
it's an extensive list. I mean, the plants are I mean, I swear there's like 39 plants.
Now,
So,
what is it? You brought this out. You showed this to us earlier. This
yeah,
is, explain what this is again.
it's the Louisiana RS Revised Statute 4989.1. You go to Louisiana Legislative website, you can look up this law, and then in that law they give you they give you some penalties at the beginning, but it has the words exceptions. And, penalties for manufacturing or making tea or chocolates or whatever. There's some serious crime, $50,000 fines and very serious 5 years in jail. So, but then at the end it says the provisions of this section shall not apply to the possession, planting, cultivation, growing, or harvesting of hallucinogenic plants strictly for aesthetic, landscaping, or decorative purposes. So there's a clause in there that allows you to grow the plants, all of them. Ayahuasca's on
So there was a brilliant ancestor that got together with a couple other brilliant ancestors and made sure that that piece of paperwork was put in place.
I'm not sure how it transpired. You can find on my YouTube channel the guy, the legislator that is the Department of Agriculture, Commissioner of Agriculture. When he was a legislator, he made this law because some child had ate some angel's trumpet and thought his arm was a po' boy and tried to eat his arm and jumped off a roof or something. So he come out with this law and said, well, we're going to make it sure that these plants are available in nurseries because some of them are ornamental plants that you find in flower beds all over Louisiana. So just people don't know that they have hallucinogenic properties. But anyway, when I got back from Arizona after all the psychedelic conference and I created Decriminalize Nature Tucson and learned a lot about plant medicine, I said, well, what does Louisiana have for a law? So I looked up Louisiana, Googled, their law, and this is what they have. So I'm working within the boundaries of our law and telling people, yeah, it's legal to grow psilocybe mushrooms, but they're only for decorative purposes. So.
Yeah.
But I do work at the Capitol to try and get the legislators to understand that these medicines were available to our ancestors and they can help us today, and that we should be able to grow cannabis and mushrooms in our home. If you can have a company and make $1 million off of it, and you say it's medical for that, then we should be able to do it in the comfort of our home. If we want to sell it and get a business in that, go get the license. But
Yep.
if we want to use it in our house, hey.
For personal use, we should be able to, everywhere in the world should be able to grow these plants. There are still countries in the world that have death penalty if you're caught with cannabis.
Yeah.
Caught with a joint of cannabis and you can be put to death in some countries. It's just mind-blowing, right? And what gets me is like the government. Speaking of your government, our government caught on to this and they're trying to keep control of the monopoly, making a ton of money off cannabis because it can double as a recreational component as well. The same as magic mushrooms or LSD or MDMA or MDA, wonderful medicines, can do a lot of help to help people heal with the right set and setting, but you can also put recreational intentions into all of those medicines and have a good time with your friends. Like, I'm going to go take this gram of mushrooms and have a good laugh with my friends. There's two medicines in that. The fact that the magic mushrooms are going to be there to help you and laughter with your friends, right? Like, so the governments, if they get on board and take monopoly of that recreational side, they can make money and do a lot of funding, and it would be nice to see all of the governments of the world get on board with that and,
but use the money that's coming in for promoting the medical end that is completely lacking. Because that's what happened up here. Recreational became legal, but they set limits on things. So if you want, proper Rick Simpson oil, no, I shouldn't call it that, proper fecal, full extract cannabis oil at the proper strengths it's not available from the legal sources. So if you actually medicinally need this stuff, it's not available. But nobody supports any of the medical because they go, what are you talking about? I can go buy weed right over there. Yes, but I can't buy the 50 milligram gummy. I can't get the oil that's, 88 to 92% that I need to fight these diseases.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It is.
It
is, but I'm still very happy and lucky to be here in Canada. Our laws are, at least it's legal and we're not killing anybody for it.
And it's a good starting place. And if you get busted with the illegal stuff, it's only a matter of time till it hits Supreme Court. And, sorry, logistics says if that's legal, this is silly to not be legal. It just needs to hit the right places with the right people with the right amount of money behind it, really.
Yeah, it will.
That's like the DEAs wanting to Schedule 3. Now, that's not going to change really anything. Because you get caught with a Schedule 3 pharmaceutical, and that's serious felony charges and that. So moving it to Schedule 3 is not going to really help. It needs to be on Schedule 5 or something like that. And then the FDA is fast track psilocybin for research for mental health. So that's on stage 3, I think, right now. So it's coming up in a year or two. We'll be able to get psilocybin from a medical doctor. So
that's amazing.
That's why we need to build the infrastructure now of the healthcare, train the facilitators and nurse practitioners, whoever that's going to be facilitating these events, the therapy, because like ketamine, they do ketamine infusion, but you just sit in a chair and the guy's sitting there looking at his phone while you're getting the ketamine, and you go home. You don't follow up or nothing. Might help. What you I've seen it help stage 4 depression and that. Get my wife at it. She was in bad shape, and she come out of the ketamine, went on the computer, looked up for a job, and got a job, teaching job.
Yeah.
She was suffering from a depressive episode, and it was after the conference that I learned about ketamine.
No, they're doing a lot of testing with it up here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, up here, our ketamine facilities, though, they if you're going to go in for ketamine treatment, they insist on having talk therapy, usually through them and one of their therapists as well. So you don't just get infused and sent home here. Thankfully, you get talk therapy before, during if you need it, and after as well.
Yeah, well, that's like the ayahuasca. You had a special diet, and then you prep. Your mind got your mind ready before, and then they have an integration circle where you can talk about your experience and hearing other people's experience really help. I've sat through some of those meetings where people would tell you how they were suffering from bad depression. It felt like they just opened their chest and that little depressive guy left, and just some amazing stories of the health benefits. But keeping it illegal just keeps it in the underground, and not a lot of people find out, or not a lot of people want to go do that. So we need to.
It's pretty tough. It's a tough awakening. People have to be already knowledgeable and seeking generally to find it. That's what I'm noticing. With you, was your first experience with mushrooms a big experience, or was it a microdosing type experience?
It was about 3.5 grams or something. I never did much more than, when I lived in Arizona.
Well, that's generally a pretty big experience.
Yeah, it's a pretty full dose.
Yeah. It was after the ayahuasca, so it was just a interesting experience,
Now, I'm going to ask a strange question. I was in Mexico. I did 5 rounds of ayahuasca in a jungle there. And I did a little touring around. But what I found was when I got back, and I've also found it when I do 5-MeO or Bufo, that the mushrooms help me integrate the data better in my brain.
Yeah.
I'll do a mushroom journey, and all of the the questioning data I had that was, I was having problems sorting. The mushrooms seemed to sort it out and place it into the proper places, and all of the data finds its place. Do you find that type of thing? Did you find the mushrooms kind of helped you integrate from your Aya experience?
Yeah, I think each plant has something different to offer. I've heard the plant speak to you. The first time I heard that at a Tucson psychedelic meeting, I was like, "What?" But no, I think the mushrooms they speak to me too. I mean, you have like one of the strains is called Golden Teacher because the mushroom teaches you.
Yes, that's actually my favorite strain, and that's generally what we use all through our microdosing products as well.
Yeah,
it's a very healing strain. Some people want to just go for journeys, so there's penis envy available and whatnot.
Yeah.
But ourselves with our stuff and my own personal, that's my favorite. I love the language. That's what Cindy and I've discussed that even within the mushrooms, they each have their own language.
Yes.
So it's a similar conversation, but some of them are yelling at you. Some of them are whispering. Some of them are pointing over here. Some of them are pointing right there.
Yeah.
They all speak a little different.
Oh, absolutely. The ayahuasca made me feel, first time I had an out-of-body experience, but I was actually like able to look at myself and say, man, what are you doing? You need to stop all that drinking and all that. So I think that was ayahuasca telling me that.
Yeah, I had a pretty, Aya spoke pretty loud to me. One of the first things she said was she told me I was a puny little arrogant human. And then I learned I was a puny little arrogant human. Yeah, that medicine spoke loud. I hear that Iboga does the same kind of aspect. It speaks fairly loud to you and gives you that vision of you being able to see the avatar and going, boy, I need to help that person.
Oh, yeah. The last time I went, I quit smoking cannabis before I went. And I think it was my best experience ever because I went at least 30 days without smoking cannabis. But it was like I saw the Matrix movie with the ones and the zeros. I actually saw some of that on the beams of this wonderful organization, Aya Guide, AYAGUIDE, guide.com. I think they're out of Tucson, but they have the Ikara music and everything in this beautiful yurt that's 30 miles out in the southern desert, south of Tucson. So I went to dozens of ceremonies with them, but they're wonderful people. And so it's rather than people trying to go out of country or something that live in the United States, I would recommend them. But yeah, the last time it was definitely an intense experience, but it did help me pull right out of the drinking urge again. I mean, I really think our bodies needs, like at least once a year maybe or something, have a good psychedelic experience and it kind of keeps us in tune.
Yeah, I find it not only does a reset on the brain, but when the reset on the brain happens, it helps set the DNA's desires. Because sometimes the desires, for me, it's sugar, and you have those journeys and all of a sudden those little things go away. And, you make that level of healing that when you go to introduce it again, the body goes, hey, I don't like that. It kind of resets the DNA as well as the brain. And it's like, oh, each one is another level of being a little healthier.
Yeah, I think I heard a guy explain it in Phoenix. He was like, well, when we're born, all our synapses are firing off good, connecting. Every time you get in trauma, they kind of pull back. So the plant medicine kind of gets that going again. It starts letting everything communicate. So
Yeah. Mushrooms are extremely good for that.
Yeah.
Not just the psilocybin mushrooms. There are plenty of mushrooms, gourmet mushrooms, as you call them. I call them over-the-counter mushrooms, right? That are just, amazing.
Magic. Well, yes, in our group, we can grow lion's mane mushrooms. I mean, those things are amazingly healthy. Building the myelin sheet, and so they all work together. All these plants work together.
Okay, so you've discovered mushrooms, and now from discovering them to where you are now, take us through that bit of the journey.
Discovered mushrooms. Upset when I got back to Louisiana, I was like, well, what can we do here? So I found this law, said, oh, you can grow psilocybe mushrooms. So, and like I said, I'll go to the library and do it. And anybody, when they find out you grow mushrooms, they want you to grow them for them. Nah, man, I teach you how to grow mushroom. You want to know? So I went to the library and reserved some, till we do like one meeting in the beginning of the month. And then 2 weeks later, we do another. Well, the first meeting, we inoculate a jar of grain. And then the next one, they bring it back and we have a bag of substrate. We mix it in there and then they take it home and it's oyster mushrooms. They grow. But through that process, they learn the transfer of mycelium, from the spore syringe to the grain jar, and they learn all that. And once you get that knowledge, and you can do it well. So the Swamp Spore Society, we just, like I said, we grow oyster mushrooms. So but down here, the minute they hear mushrooms, they want to lock you up.
That's why you got to get more people growing oysters and turkey tail. And turkey tail's a great cancer fighter. The lion's mane, great for the brain. There's published studies showing it heals brain tissue, nerve endings, telomeres on the ends of nerves. Like anybody that's trauma-based, stroke-based, anything to do with the brain aspect should have that within their diet anyway.
Yes, yeah. And if they know how to grow it at home, it's even that much easier because it's just a threat of contamination. They don't know, the process, but it's not hard to learn. And I'm not a mycologist by any means. I just learned at a building in Tucson, and I came back and I'm teaching people here so that they can learn. And I love hearing when I teach somebody, oh, I taught my cousin how to grow, or somebody, I'm like, good. So we set off these little ripples, in society when you do things, and it carries on to people you don't ever even hear who they are. But by teaching them how to grow the oysters, somebody might actually grow some psilocybe mushrooms and get the treatment they need. But before that, they didn't even know where to start, So we
and I knew nothing about mushrooms before my healing journey, other than my brother used to talk about, I go and I pick pines and chanterelles and they're really good for you. But to me at that time, it was blah, blah, blah. Then I start my healing path and it's like, oh no, turkey tail activates this in the gut. Chaga activates this. Lion's mane activates this. You combine all these mushrooms and this healing power of what happens within the gut that helps the brain. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Like my mind was blown. Because I've grown up where it's like, the talk was, those are slimy. Oh, those are yucky. Oh, they taste gross. I never tried them. I didn't know. I grew up so I never tried them. I've had fresh lion's mane now. You do a little marination, throw it on the barbecue and cook that up and slap that in a burger and bun just like a burger. I don't do the beef thing, but that just replaces the beef for me, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And healing at the same time.
Yes. It's and then much cheaper growing it. We went to actually a friend of mine. I taught how to grow. She initially got me involved in advocating. She invited me to the Capitol before I started my group, Louisiana Veterans Medical Cannabis. And so I said, well, let me teach you how to grow mushrooms. So I said, go to Whole Foods, get some mushroom, lion's mane. We brought it and put it in a steel air box and took some of the lion's mane, put it on an agar plate, and then transferred it to some grain, and then put the grain in some wood pellets that you use in your fire pit, and then grew like a lump of lion's mane that big. But it's for 8 ounces of lion's mane, fresh lion's mane at Whole Foods. It's like $10 or something. It's like that's just a half a pound.
Yeah.
So I grew like two pounds of it. So I'd have had $32 of mushrooms just that one little jar of grains, and so it's a lot cheaper to grow it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love that you're actually teaching people to do that. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Steve.
Because it is an art. I'm in a few groups where people grow, and you know, a lot of people think they're going to step right in and grow themselves some beautiful mushrooms, and it is an art. You have to be clean in a lot of respects. You've got to be careful in a lot of respects. You know, the air influences what happens. You know, there is a learning process, but at the same time, hey, some of them grow in turds.
Yeah, we making these all-in-one grow bags at Mushroom Farmers, where you have you grain, hydrated, sterilized grain in here, and then you have cocoa coir, and you just put you spray it with alcohol. Just go right in there with a clean syringe with your liquid culture, and the mushrooms grow right inside there. You never even really open the bag until they're coming up, so it's all sterilized. So I say it's so easy, even a caveman can do it. I mean, you don't even have to know how to do mushrooms, just know how to stick the bag and you got mushrooms.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they sell them right here near me. I actually got the guy to start, encourage him to start making them. He's got a mushroom business, and he kind of coordinated with me with the Swamp Sports Society. I said, look, we need, local grain and substrate, and said, if you can make these grow bags, I said, that'd make it easy. Everybody can grow with it. And I talked to him today. He said people were requesting it, so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what else have you shook up down in the Louisiana area? What else you've got rattled and shaken in the cages?
Well, I have a Heroes Rally for home grow. I got my permit for Veterans Park in Louisiana. I don't know if you can read that, Steve, but you have to apply to the Louisiana State Capitol. So back in September, on September 11th, I sent them a application, and they came back and said we could reserve Veterans Park and the Capitol steps for our rally, which we've done the last 4 years. We've done rallies over there. We get the lobby tables in the Capitol and talk to the legislators about plant medicine and cannabis. And so we had a home grow rally last year, but this year I said, well, everybody's about the heroes all the time. Oh, the heroes, the vets. Well, hey, if y'all want the vets y'all want to help the heroes, then let us grow cannabis in our house. If you're selling it for medical, then that means it's medical for us in our house, and we can grow it. It's so expensive. It's like $60 an eighth over here in Louisiana. So the people can't afford it. It can't just certain people can, but they can't, like you were saying earlier, the ones with cancer that need the full FICO, they can't afford it. We should have, no, we don't even have FICO here. We had it in Arizona, but not in Louisiana.
Wow. Yeah, that's why things have to change, because, truly that is the most healing of the oils. And the more type of strains you can grow to integrate and make that oil fuller spectrum, the more healing it is. So, when you're limiting, you're helping people die, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we should have, it's going to be great if they get it rescheduled here on the federal level, where like death doulas and that, they can go in with a big syringe of full spectrum and give them some dose of mushrooms too. I mean, it helps end life anxiety. I mean, there's all kind of benefits.
It's changed people so that they actually ended up living because they did those death doula doses.
Yes.
Well, there was a lady here in Canada. They did a documentary on her, Dosed 2. I'm not sure if you got in to watch that yet, Steve, but it's these two young fellas out in Vancouver made two different documentaries, and the second one was about this lady who was facing end of death cancer, stage 4. She had less than a year. Her and her family were devastated, so they followed her. My friend Gareth was in the documentary. He was making high-end FICO oil for her. And then other mushroom specialists, sat with her with mushrooms, and she did high dose mushrooms, and her family ended up doing them as well at one point in time to help her accept and become at ease so she could enjoy the rest of her life, no matter if it was a month or 10 years. You know, and they got her eating whole foods, good foods, taking the fico oil, on the mushrooms, and her cancer is now in remission.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What was the name of the documentary? It's on YouTube?
Yeah, well, yes, you can find it on YouTube. It's called Dosed, D-O-S-E-D. There are two movies. There's the first one follows a young lady who suffers with heroin addiction. And they follow her through her trials with some of these other medicines. She works with psilocybin, and eventually lands with iboga, which is truly what helps her heal. She's also outside the movie. The movie was about that. She's also outside the movie. Again, I've ended up friends with this beautiful young lady. She works with 5-MeO as well. But she's still, this was, Dosed was almost 6 years ago. And she's still sober to this day. She got sober from heroin using mushrooms and iboga.
That's wonderful.
So then they did Dose 2, which is the one following the cancer.
Yes.
There's a part 2. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it and watch it because when I have a YouTube subscription, so I don't have to forward commercials. So when I'm driving sometime, I'll put it down and listen.
Yeah. If you can't find them, reach out. I will see if I can find some links for you.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Will.
We're almost to that time, Steve.
Hey, did we make any banners?
No, I don't think we have any banners, but we could ask Tony where, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, where would they do it?
They can follow the Swamp Spore Society or Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis. And that's my 2 social media outlets. But we have Facebook events for the Swamp Spore Society, so they can just search mushrooms and or hallucinogenic.
So is it Louisiana Swamp Spore Society? I should probably have in there.
No, it's Louisiana Veterans for Medical Cannabis on Facebook. And then
I'm trying to make the banner up here. Louisiana Veterans
Medical Cannabis. And my second group, Steve, when the one I teach people how to grow mushrooms, I created was Swamp, just Swamp, not just Swamp Spore Society.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
Let me do this one.
There you go.
Yes.
And it's Swamp Spore Society. That's correct.
Yeah, the next one's Swamp Spore Society on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's on Facebook as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me go edit.
And all of the links are actually in the ad and on the write-up for this video. So if you were curious about any of them, you can go to the ad in the rooms, or you can go to the explanation on this video, because Tony provided us with the links to just click. So those are both in the ad and on the explanation for the video, so you can get them that way very easily.
Any last words before I do the "Hey, it's that time again" thing?
Well, I'd just like to encourage anyone listening out there that if there's some kind of legislation going through the House or Senate or Parliament or what, just send an email if you can. Just, that one email with your story, your life story about how and you don't have to say you took the mushrooms in Louisiana or so. Just say I took them one time, and leave the location out. You want to protect yourself. So just and let them know your story, because that means so much to the legislators hearing from their constituents. So just try and help out.
Well, thank you for coming on. I'm pretty darn sure we're probably going to have you again. But it is that time. So thanks for joining us here on the Mushie Moment with my awesome co-host, Rev Cindy, myself, and our awesome guest, Tony Landry. We're proud to be coming to you live from paceradio.net. We'll see you next week. Much love.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.